Hey guys, this is Ronald, Futures Trading with Ron, aka Ubi1. Ubi1. I do prefer to trade ultra bonds 100% because I like movements way better. But here is a video about Nasdaq and my system, my way of trading on the Nasdaq for Friday 29th of October. That was yesterday in this case. So how do you trade it? How do you keep it simple? Well, it's almost the same strategy as I use for my ultra bonds, but ultra bonds has just more winners and is less stressful to trade with similar setups than Nasdaq, because we have a lot of manipulation on the Nasdaq, and it's less stressful. The structure, the behavior around price levels and structure is every time the same for ultra bonds. And for Nasdaq, you see a difference in sessions. Like London session behavior is a little bit different than during New York, etc. Evening time, end of New York, for me that's evening time. End of New York session is also again different in behavior. So these are all things to take in consideration when trading a product. Always trade one product, don't trade two products, two future markets at the same time, because it can be distracting. So I keep this video short. I'm going to show you how I traded it, how it looks. This is Nasdaq. On the left we got a bigger picture Renko chart. This bigger picture Renko chart shows in the background this gray area. That's the session profile. Session profile. On the right we got same gray area, the cloud. It's a session profile, but just history view of it. This is Renko 3015 bigger picture. To the right we have 15.7 as a trigger. The trigger chart is where you execute your trades and where you look at structure. The left chart I keep it smaller because I just use it for bigger picture rotational levels, to see a bigger picture on the chart what it's doing. Of course the left is moving slower than the right. So this was London. We had Frankfurt. Frankfurt was just what was Frankfurt here? Frankfurt was very slow moving. Even bonds moves more during Frankfurt than Nasdaq. Nasdaq can be a little bit slow during London, but pre-New York it starts to move, and I'm going to show you on the chart. So first of all, you're gonna have a bias. Keep it simple, no technical analysis. If you just move the chart to the left, you see we came from below where we are just making higher highs, higher lows. We have some area of accumulation, and then we pushed up again, and now we dropped. We broke this range to the downside. We are now retesting it. I'm still thinking longs, but structure wise it can be both ways. We can go up, we can go down, but I want to see more continuation to the downside and below this zone to say, okay, I'm going to look for shorts. Primarily I'm going to look for rotations to the upside, longs. What are rotations? Well, just simple pullbacks, where I have some confirmations, maybe confirmation on the delta, maybe confirmation on other indicators, and I take bounces. I like in this open, this was the first trade. We got big delta difference in this top, so we can see a bigger rotation or just a small scalp. It was a small scalp in this case. A trade a few $100 with 2 to 4 contracts, depending on your liking. It is pretty easy to make $1,000, $2,000 on Nasdaq, even during London and pre-New York. If you don't like to trade New York, it's easy to make $1,000 to $2,000 with 2-3 contracts, maybe 4 contracts. It's really possible because you just have to scalp. My advice: scalp 20, 30, 40 ticks and then get out, and maybe have a runner on bigger rotations, and I'm going to show you also. So we're primarily looking for longs and of course bounces. So what do we see in the structure? We are still in this range. we are ranging, but we are ranging up. So we see delta setups, bounce setups on double tops. Here we got also one. I don't take just a double top rotation short when we're trending up. I only take it when I get multiple confirmations on my visual indicators. I don't just hop in when I see a delta difference or like here or something. I want to see more confirmations that I know in this case sellers are jumping in. We are at particular levels, sellers getting in, etc. So this is your first scalp downwards, another bounce, and then still you might take this long based on also it's a higher low. We had a higher high, higher low. First structure, you take this one also on the structure, higher low, but then you only take a few ticks because it rotates on you. Still you can make a few hundred on this move, but these are only the first two logical longs. If you look at delta wise, the delta is the half of the longs deltas, so buyers are in control. But then again you see everything is slowing down. We're heading the VWAP, we're not hitting the VWAP really. Then we're breaking structure, so this I like. This is what we see. We strike structure again. We're looking for longs. I like pullbacks to the EMAs, but in this case we got same delta on this high and this low, so I don't really like it. We can still rotate downwards, because there's one thing I see on Nasdaq and London is price is going outside the value area of the session profile. It's going outside value area, making a move outside and then moving back inside. I see this many times on a London session, and I'm gonna show you. And that is why it's important to only trade one product, so you recognize particular behavior. So we are moving upwards, we're making a deeper correction. I still like this long, but I see, because we are continuously on these moves here, let me show you. We are continuously hitting the standard deviation in this area. That's one of my rotation signals, standard deviation 2.01, continuous hitting it, and we know the algos want to push price down. Sorry. So I did not take these longs because it's higher risk, and we also see in delta, the delta is not giving us very strong signals to buy, but structure is there. So then we broke. Okay, I wasn't really happy because we had previous VPOC above previous value area high, all data of yesterday. We see this is holding, but we're also outside of the standard deviation. That thing is also growing with us, but I was looking for some kind of structure change for two reasons. Because we are outside value area, and I know many times Nasdaq goes back into value, and we're outside standard deviation. So two arguments for me to change my plan to look for shorts and wait for some kind of rotation here. So I waited for it, and then we got it. We got on this one multiple confirmations that price is slowing down, sellers are getting in. We see divergence on this high, we see multiple signals on these candles here, and on our other indicator, on our other chart we see sellers are getting in. So we see rotations, we got a triple top, head and shoulders, whatever you want to call it. Still delta is in a positive, so you might think, okay, I don't like it, but when you see this, still you see this, you might get in. I took this one, I took this one. Sometimes it's just more safe to wait. I took this one, the scalp to the previous value area high, because before we held it, we held this area, so it still might range and then continue upwards. So you have to think a little bit ahead what can happen. This is the pre-New York, this is 1 o'clock my time. That's 5 or 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. I see volume getting in, and many times, again, when you only trade one product, you know these things. At 5, 6 o'clock Central Standard Time, volume is getting in, and many times we might see a rotation back inside, and we did. I took this one also, so I did here a scalp, I did a scalp here to the value area, because here price can still go from value area high, bounce off and continue upwards, still possible. So I scalp, it's Nasdaq, it can do everything, it can go both ways. Then we held value area high, and I took this short with multiple confirmations. Every setup, these 3 setups, I took with multiple confirmations, visual confirmations, simple confirmations I teach in my mentorship. Keep it simple, keep it easy, and you can learn these kind of setups in 1 or 2 weeks. It's pretty simple, but I think it's the best way to trade Nasdaq, because Nasdaq isn't the right product to swing trade, to make 100, 200 ticks. You have to lose too many trades to make that kind of run. So I rather take a few hundreds per setup and end my day with $800, $1,000, $2,000 maybe. I end my trading session like here. We are done for the pre-New York, so we might not even want to trade New York session. And then still we had 3 setups here. We had a high risk setup here, is 4, and we had these already, 1, 2, and maybe you take 1 or 2 of these. These are just structured trades. So you would already made in the first half hour of London, you would already made 1,000, 1,500 USD just on taking some of these 3, 4 setups. You would already be done for the day. Keep it simple, keep a low daily target, keep it possible to take simple setups, and don't go for the bigger runs. Don't be too greedy. So you would already be done for the day. If you're living in Europe, then you don't have to trade the high risk New York session. Pre-New York we had this, so you guys in the US and Pacific time, everyone, you can trade pre-New York. We had multiple sessions. Then we had on the open, this is the New York Open, by the way, here on time, New York Open. We had continuation of the drop, then price pushed up again to the liquidity level where we bounced off before. I took this long, multiple confirmations, 3 confirmations, free web, was rejecting, fake out, fade out, whatever you want to call it, continuation to the upside. This was also a setup, but I did not take it. I took this one to value area high, made a few hundred, done. So then we had this New York Open. We rotated again. This was New York Open, and this was the liquidity pickup, and then it dropped. This is 15 minutes after the 15 minutes after the open. I'm gonna look at my other chart one moment. Where it is? Yeah, here it is. And we see delta declining, more sellers getting in. We got multiple confirmations, sellers are want to go in. We see a switch of the point of control. So this tells us something big is happening. Many traders are getting in, many traders are getting out, maybe big traders. So this is telling us something about volume. The point of control of the session switched. So on ultra bonds, I like to stay away when this happens, but on Nasdaq, it's telling some good things. It's important to know what's happening, but on Nasdaq, it's pretty interesting to trade it. We had multiple confirmations on taking one of these 2 lower highs and take the short. We're inside value area, and when price is inside value area, many times at least it wants to go to the center of the value area, that's the free web, or it wants to go to the other side of the value area. Understand, value area is dynamic, so based on volume, and now we switch from London to New York session, the value area might switch also. Like we see here, the value area temporarily switched, volume got in here, and then value area changed again. Here also a nice break. Look at the delta volume difference here, delta. We had 3 confirmations to take this short. Primarily you might think I want to trade the bounce off, but keep in mind price can also break. And what are the rules for the break? What are the rules for the bounce? I teach this with my training videos, pretty simple. Just wait on what will happen and you enter. You take $300-400 dollars maybe on this move, all good, in and out, just wait for something new. Then we are at the new value area low here, because profile changed. We're at the low, we got big difference in delta. You see it bouncing off the value area low plus this pivot level. This is a prior level, a support level. I can explain later more. It bounced off and then again and then again. I took this bounce and I took this one, and it went all the way back to VWAP. Why? Because VWAP acts like a magnet. It pushes price away and it attracts. So if you see price breaking point of control and moving away from the value area low, where is it going to go? Big chance it's going to go to the VWAP or maybe even higher, and it did. Just the same thing it did here. This was a big runner here, so, and then here you get another few hundreds, maybe 60 ticks or more. Interesting. I was taking this short based on delta, but it was high risk because it was not really at a resistance level. It was on top of the VWAP, so it was high risk. Few ticks, I got out. I didn't like it. So another scalp setup here, same setup as here, based on delta. I see a sort of double top, triple top here. I see price does not want to continue upwards, so I scalped another few ticks, higher risk, so take lower position size, smaller position size. And then something happened. Then we pushed away. It first picked up liquidity, lower low, but then it pushed away. It broke value area, okay, but we had a deeper retest. I waited. I didn't like it. This happened pretty fast. This is really in a few minutes, maybe seconds. I waited. Okay, what's this gonna happen? But we broke it. We broke it. I was still thinking we broke it, and then we got delta getting in, and we broke again. So you can enter on the delta first candle, or you can enter on the volume at the break. Again, it broke in volume, and then we had previous value area high above. So keep in consideration, price might rotate here, so protect your profits. Don't let a winner become a loser. Keep a tight stop once you're in profit. Very, very important for Nasdaq. And then we had confirmation on this small pullback, only one red candle. Delta confirmation, it broke, it held, volume got in. On our other charts, I'm going to look at my other charts right now. Yeah, volume here, we got a lot of search bars on the other charts, confirming buyers are getting in, a lot of buyers. There was no supply on this side, on this break, so it broke. I still can take 40 ticks easy on this move. Then this is standard deviation 2.01 plus sellers getting in, plus I know 4 confirmations I had on this short. So where do you close your trade? You close it here on the support, because this was a support we broke. We still might see continuation to the upside. I closed my trade and I would stop trading. Why? Because of the time. We're heading towards London close. The first 1.5 hour, 2 hours of New York session, it's all good. Then markets is behaving differently. Stop trading, keep it simple, and of course, most important, your focus. You can't focus on Nasdaq for 3-4 hours continuously. It's too hard. So that is that's my biggest advice for this video. Well, that's all I want to show and mention in my video. Left bigger picture, you see it's a little bit messy. We cannot say we're really trending, but still we had very nice setups based on our playbook, our trade plan. Keep it simple, simple setups with 3-4 confirmations. I've mentioned some setups, the confirmations I see. These are visual confirmations with like one view. You see the multiple confirmations and you can decide to enter or not. That is how you would trade Nasdaq, also for ultra bonds, but ultra bonds is just way more easy and less stressful and less losses. So hit me up if you want to know more about how to trade the Nasdaq this way. No big technical analysis needed. Same for ultra bonds. I would strongly advise beginners and advanced traders to look at bonds. It sounds boring, but it's way more fun to trade than Nasdaq. Because today was a little bit rangy day on Nasdaq, but still profitable. Let me know what you think of the video and hit me up on the Discord channel. It's free and we can talk more about this trading style. See you later guys, bye bye.